Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Faith Over Fears podcast. I want to thank and God bless all of you for being here and listening in today to the podcast. Now, instead of a small story today, I'm going to kind of give you guys an update on what's going on. And as far as podcast goes, I make podcasts very early, and we normally don't post that specific podcast until a week after I make it, or a week and a half. And this is because I make them in advance, just so we have backups, just in case if we lose any, and just stuff like that. So I just wanted to update you all for those of you putting in questions and them not really being answered yet. It's most likely going to happen in the later videos and later podcasts. But going right on, I actually have a question from my father, and he asks, what are my thoughts about schooling in the future? Now, for this question, I'm going to assume there's going to be several parts with my answer for this question. Now, the first part being, future schooling. I do feel like we will stay in online school regardless if we get a cure for corona or not. Just to start out trying to be safe. Until we for sure know that it is safe and that we have what we need to help cure people and help keep people safe, we will maintain an online schooling. Now, just a reminder, I'm not like a part of the school board or anything, so I personally don't know, but this is just my thoughts on what may happen in our future. And if we weren't able to find like some sort of cure for this virus, I do feel like we may stay in online schooling for a year or possibly two, depending on how long it takes for us to find the cure. Once we find the cure, I do feel like we will still have a few months of quarantining and trying to stay a bit more safe from other people, and that's just like kind of a way of thinking like, okay, unless the coronavirus is actually getting used to our cure and we have to come up with another one, we're still safe and we're still quarantined, so we don't have to worry about it. And as far as my thoughts, I'm going to do kind of a different turn with this. My thoughts with online schooling versus classroom schooling is I personally didn't like online schooling. I was kind of a nerd and I liked school, so I didn't like having to do online school because it was very frustrating knowing that I couldn't go and ask for help, because me being a high school student, a senior, and having several college classes I needed to finish, I normally went in every day asking at least one teacher for help with something that I needed. And when we moved over to online schooling, it was moved to where we had an hour of a Zoom call like once every week to ask questions. And keep in mind, this Zoom call would contain anywhere from 20 to 80 people, depending on how big the class was or how many people were signed up for that specific class. So, I mean, they did. I won't lie. I will. I give my respect and I look up to the teachers that did continue to teach us, because I'm sure it wasn't that easy for them either, trying to teach from home and how hard it must have been for them. So I do thank all the teachers out there who were there every step of the way, even at home, dealing with their own personal life as well as their job life. So thank you guys once again. Now that's pretty much all I have for that question. And now I'm going to kind of reverse it a little bit and do some get to know me questions and just kind of let you guys know who I am as a person and what I like to do and stuff like that. So First of all, my name's Preston, as most of you may know. I was a senior. I am now going to be a freshman in college. Um, my hobbies are playing drums, playing any sort of sport, anything that's active, I love doing. I love video games. I'm hopefully trying to work on another YouTube channel with a buddy of mine, but that is kind of pending right now as to he may be able to go into the Navy, which is super cool and kind of surreal to feel like realizing how all of this like this real life interaction and this real life situations are starting to occur for not only my life but my friends around me. So for my buddy Jack going into the Navy, good luck, bud, and I really hope you make it. If not, I guess I can be your plan B. So, and then let's see. I have a few kind of goofy questions. One question being my favorite color. My favorite color is like a bluish green. I kind of like the mixtures of the cool colors, so those are pretty interesting. I used to be really into art, and I would say I was pretty decent at it. And then I got into marching band, and that became a very, very big part of my life. I played in the pit section, which, for those of you who don't know, it's the front line of a marching band, and we play on xylophones and basically the auxiliary of the band. So we're basically like extra sound effects and sounds that help bring everything together and make it sound as detailed as it needs to be. And for the 4 years that I did marching band, I loved it. It was probably the most fun I've ever had doing an activity. But sadly, I did have to kind of move on and go into life. I am a manager of one job now, and I work at my dad's business, help him with, I wouldn't say constructing, but creating these tiny clips that we use, that we sell to people. And then I'm also doing this podcast, as you guys know, obviously. And so far, I won't lie, this podcast is it's kind of crazy. It's definitely a lot more work than I was expecting, and I know there's been a few people that were a part of our crew that currently left due to how busy they were, and unfortunately how busy this podcast was. So, and for those who left, I apologize that this thing was a lot more work than it seemed, and I know you guys are extremely busy, so I hope you guys can get through it and hopefully find something that suits you guys and that you guys are happy doing. So, but back to our group with the podcast, it's definitely hard because both of our groups are basically like high school students, and we're kind of running this whole thing ourselves. But I won't lie, Novacom has definitely had a huge impact on our group, the Faith Over Fear group. They kind of took us in and they helped us out a lot, and for that I am very appreciative. So thank you guys, thank you Novacom and everyone who works in Novacom. So yeah, that's kind of a small get to know you for me. And if you guys have any other questions, just feel free to go to our website and ask away, as well as a short story. If you guys have a short story you guys would love for me to share or to tell others, go ahead and look at our website and let us know down there. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up. So again, thank you all for being here and listening to the Faith Over Fears podcast. I would honestly encourage you guys to read Proverbs 17:22. I recently just read this in my daily devotional, and it was really nice to read this. It was kind of one of those calming verses that makes you sit back and realize, yeah, everything's going to be okay. So I hope for someone out there, it touches you and reaches your heart and lets you know that everything's going to be okay. So once again, guys, I want to thank you all for being here. It means a lot to all of us. Thanks, God bless, and see ya.